of life. And speaking of quality of life, our guest this morning, how are you? Sharon
Hi.
Brubaker, a grief recovery specialist.
Yay!
Nice to see you again.
Yes, how's it going?
Well, it's going. I'm here.
Is it that time of year, do you think?
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. Everything seems to be,
Yeah.
get it done now.
Yeah. Especially this last few days. We're at the last few days of get it done now. So I think everybody's sort of stressing out.
Yes, and I have a room full of unwrapped gifts.
Oh. That's a grief in itself.
Oh, it is. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, if I don't get it done Saturday and Sunday, it
Right.
won't get done.
Right. And that's when some really smart woman invented the gift bag.
Oh, you aren't kidding. What a relief. The only thing I have to do now is go buy the tissue to
Yeah.
go in it.
Yes, that's it. That's
Because
it.
I've got tons of bags, and most of the gifts will fit in a bag of some
Yes.
size.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
So, like I said, I'm pretty sure some smart woman invented that and saved all of our lives.
Oh.
Because I can remember the day of back there trying to wrap everything up, all the gifts up.
Yes.
But I
yes.
bet a lot of our friends and listeners are probably having a really hard time this time coming upon as we get closer to the holiday, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Me included.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah.
included.
You know, I think a lot of times those first few years, we're just numb, we get through it. We can't even point back to what it was like getting through that first Christmas or that second
No,
Christmas.
in fact, for me, it was a good 2 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And from what I've been told, that is the critical time,
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
After those 2 years, it starts getting a little easier.
Yes.
And that did happen with me. But even so, 33 years
Yeah.
later,
Yeah.
especially this time of year
Yes.
and his birthday,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
fun at all.
No, I can't imagine.
Really
it's not fun
isn't.
at all. I was reading an article that talked about how even a pair of socks at Target could just set you off, right? Just looking at the socks and having that trigger there for you.
That's right.
So what
It's
I know
amazing.
in my experience has been the second year, something happens that second year where it's all of a sudden it's real. The reality sets in. And that's that moment in the second year. And I get it a lot with my clients. I just left a client and he said this, he goes, honestly, I don't remember what I did last year. And I was with him every step of the way last year.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but this year, sometimes it's tougher. It absolutely is tougher that second year. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's if you can survive for those 2 years, then it starts getting easier.
Yeah.
It did for me.
Yeah. The other thing is that what you're speaking to is that time doesn't heal.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Time does not take that pain away, especially for a mother, right? A mother's heart. It's the action within time that we do when we actually look at it, talk about it, and lean into it, Barbara, because a lot of times what people want to do is they want to resist it.
Oh, I know. And that is, and it's interesting because I would find myself pushing it away.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew better.
Yeah.
I mean, I had gone through hotline training.
Yeah.
I had done the training. I knew exactly
Yeah.
what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And but it's normal.
Yes, it
want
is.
to push it away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, no.
And a lot of times what we do is, and especially as seniors, is we translate the pushing it away as the grieving. We think that's us grieving, when in actuality, that's just us pushing it away.
That's
Here's
right.
the other
and
thing.
that makes it worse.
It makes it worse.
Yes,
And
it
think
does.
about this. What if we allowed it in for just a few minutes and we allowed it? We let it be with us for a minute or two. The next time, let's say it's 10 minutes. The next time you may only need 8 minutes. But the more we allow it, the faster we're going to...
easier it
the
gets.
easier and easier. And we go
Exactly.
through it. We can't go around it. And this we're talking about is grief and a broken heart, for sure.
It is. And it's so interesting because when I lost my parents, it was nothing compared
Yeah.
to losing a son,
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the normal living
Yeah.
and passing away.
Yeah.
Living and dying.
Yeah.
Parents normally go before their
Yeah.
children. But children don't normally go before their
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it even worse.
Yes.
You
I
know,
agree with
no
you.
matter how you try to push that fact away, it makes it worse.
Yes.
It isn't normal.
And I was speaking at a senior center not very long ago, and I find that a lot of seniors buy into time heals because that's what they were taught. And that's what they learned. And you know what else they do? They don't speak about it. It broke my heart. They don't want to talk about it because they were told time heals. And so what
heals,
happened,
that's
Barbara,
right.
after I did my little talk, one by one, they started coming up to me to share their story tearfully.
Yes.
Because they probably live in a life and live day to day where they're not allowed to talk about it, or they don't have a safe place to talk about it.
That's very true. And it's interesting because I went into therapy, really, really serious therapy, after Chuck died.
Yeah.
And I eventually moved into group therapy,
Yeah.
which it was amazing how much it helped.
Yes.
Because especially in a group, all of the people there had gone through the same loss.
Yeah.
And you understand that, wait a minute, you're not so strange
Yeah.
having the feelings you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
That it's a normal thing to go through.
Yes.
And that really makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
It really helps.
Absolutely. And it's really what my whole business is based on is that I'm a guide. I've walked this path before you. Let me help you through. Because remember being back in the group and having another mother experience some of the same things you were experiencing?
yes.
How
And
that
you
opened you
think-
up and you realized you weren't crazy.
That's exactly right. And that you're not going to kill yourself.
Yes.
Because that's another part.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Those thoughts of, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
I'll just commit suicide myself.
Yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah.
But then you stop and think, wait.
Yeah.
You have 2 more children,
Yes.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
They need you. They're going through their own grieving process, and we need to do it together.
And I'm so glad you said that. Barbara, do you know how many grievers I sit with that say that to me? And they're almost embarrassed to say it. But the thought goes through their mind, I don't want to live one more day without him. I don't want to be here without her.
Mm-hmm.
And when they have the safe place to say that and discuss it, and they do exactly like you, I have a reason to live. They always find that reason to live.
Absolutely.
But it is normal to have that feeling of not wanting to be here. And we get embarrassed to say it. And it's so sad and so scary sometimes.
And then finally I thought, wow, Chuck lived more in his 26 years than most people do in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what's wrong with you, Barbara? Look
Mm-hmm.
at the number of years you have to go still. And he's still with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So come on, move forward.
Yes.
And I really had to talk to myself
Right.
constantly.
Exactly. And
And the same thing happened with the other parents in the group.
yes.
You know, you have to come to that, not conclusion, but that realization.
Yes. Absolutely.
And that's the word for it, the
Yes.
realization.
The realization. And we know for a fact that grievers need to talk and they need to be listened to and heard with respect. And we know for a fact as grief recovery specialists that setting that up for the griever is the number one most important thing you can do.
It is.
The other thing is having the group is so huge. And that's where we have the great mix of grief support and action steps that help you walk through that.
Exactly. The group was a lifesaver for
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
And my therapist, both of whom still, they're still in business
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't thank them enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they were the ones that said, Barbara, you've gone as far as you can go now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You need to go a little further.
Yes.
And I can't help you with that.
Yes.
But a group
Yeah.
can. A
Yeah.
group setting can.
Of course. And your life will never be the same.
No.
It's never the same.
No.
It's not like people come to me and I promise to give them back what they had. You don't get that back.
No.
It's different. It's the new normal's it does not have to be in pain and lack. It's definitely different. But what I do know is just like when you walked in and you and I started talking and you're like, whew, I know that this time of year can set off a lot of triggers for people.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Because my own triggers have been set off.
Yeah, exactly. When is Chuck's birthday?
It was November 6th.
Oh, yeah. So you get a double whammy
Yes,
right there.
that
yeah.
close.
Yeah,
That close.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Very, very hard to handle.
I really want to encourage seniors that are sitting around and thinking that they can't talk about it, of a loss or pain in their past, to be open and find somebody to talk to, somebody that is willing to listen and willing to just hear their story out, especially coming up on the holiday here. My client that I just left, he's 80 years old, and I just love him to death. And he did some work with me. But just having somebody to talk to is making a huge difference for him. And he's walked his steps, his grief recovery steps, but it's still, this time of year, it still comes up.
Yes, it does. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to be in the moment.
Yes. Yes.
And if you try to push it away, it makes it worse.
Yes, it absolutely makes it worse.
It
And I'll
does.
share my own personal story. So I lost my very best girlfriend a year ago. And this recently, I've been really missing her. And she led the choir, children's choir. And they asked me to come and help out at the children's choir. And, of course, they're singing some of the very same songs that she brought to the choir, which was my trigger, right? But during the choir practice, I just allowed it to come. And I felt it. And what it felt like was I really missed her. I was thinking about her. Tears were falling down my face, which are
yes.
absolutely okay. I had this moment with her. I allowed it in. I observed it. Wiped up my face. And the next day, the huge release that I felt. Because prior to that, I kept pushing back on it because I was missing her so much.
And you were anticipating feeling those
Yeah.
feelings
Yeah.
because of that time that
Yeah.
was coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the grieving process it's unbelievable.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it's different for everyone.
It is 100%.
No grieving process is the same
Yes.
for everyone.
Even in your
It
group,
isn't.
I bet you had different women that were going through it all differently, but you were able to share and hold the space for one another and share what that process was like.
And that was so helpful
Yeah.
because I'm thinking, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. In my support groups, I don't put like all parents together. I put all different types of grief together because grief is unique and individual. And what inspiration we can give to someone else, and just holding the space, just knowing I'm sitting next to her and her heart is broken and she knows my heart is broken is so powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is because you have a bond.
Yes.
And that's so important.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
And my kids and I got so much closer
Yeah.
after we lost
Yeah.
Chuck
Yeah.
because it was as much of a shock to them as it was to me.
Yeah.
Only being a brother and a sister, they handled it differently.
Of course they did. Yeah.
Much more so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't their child.
Yes.
It was their brother.
Yes.
You
And
know.
their sister. Yeah. So when I sat in my grief support group with Erica, who is my sister who lost Austin, one of my very first big losses, my nephew was 10 years old. She was grieving her son. I was grieving as an aunt. Neither one of us could associate with what the other person was feeling.
Exactly.
But we knew what a broken heart felt like. And that way we could support each other.
Yes.
And that's truly what happens.
And that is a time to talk.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
It's so very important.
Yes.
Just talk. I mean, I sometimes would find myself talking to his picture on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, Barbara, you're nuts. You know, what are you doing talking to a picture? But I wasn't. I was talking to him.
Yes, exactly. Because we end up with a spiritual relationship with them. And that's why we have to talk to those pictures. I find that I do that. Even today, my eyes fell on Austin's picture. And I said, hi, buddy.
Yes.
You know, we
Yes.
have that spiritual relationship. It is so important. It is so important to do that and have those conversations.
Oh, it is. And even, I mean, even so many of his friends who I still see,
Yeah.
who are grown up, they're married,
Yeah.
they have children of their own,
Yeah.
and they're grandparents too, you know. And I'm thinking, Jiminy Christmas, it's been that long
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah. How about I found was with a griever the other day, and it was so important for him to hear his son's name and I said it. And he said, no one will say his name around me. And I'm dying to hear his name. Isn't that interesting?
That is very interesting. Why? I don't understand. But I think other people who have not gone through something like that don't really understand
Yeah.
the dynamics
Yes.
involved.
And
They
I
don't,
think,
and then there's no way they would.
don't you think that? I think sometimes people that are around us, they don't want to upset us or get us crying. And so they're like, as long as I don't mention Chuck, she won't get upset. But when actuality, think of going 3 and 4 and 5 weeks or 4 and 5 months without hearing your child's name uttered by one other person. That is painful.
It is, and it's interesting because I would get up in the morning and go outside to get the paper, and there would be a half a dozen roses dropped off by different friends of his. And I'm thinking, when I thanked them for it, I said, why didn't you knock on the door and let me know? And she said, I don't know what I would have said to you.
Oh,
You know? And
Yeah.
I think, whoa.
yeah.
And he probably had more girlfriends than he had boyfriends. And he loved the ladies, but he was more involved with his motorcycle.
Yeah,
And I'd
yeah.
have these girls call me, what's wrong with Chuck? Doesn't he love me anymore? All he wants to do is ride his motorcycle. And that was his life.
Yeah.
He loved it.
Yeah.
And I still communicate with his French girlfriend,
Wow.
because she was at the Eiffel Tower when they started that race in 1985.
Beautiful.
And he dated her several times, and I'm still in touch with her.
That's
Have been all
beautiful.
these years. We email each other.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
then when I went back, Russ and I went back to England and France, we met. We met each other because all we'd seen was pictures
Right.
on the internet, and we finally got to meet each other,
Oh,
which
wow.
was really, really nice.
What an amazing
was.
story. What
Yeah,
an
it
amazing
was
story.
really nice. And she emailed me this time and says, Merry Christmas, Barbara.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a good year.
Yeah.
You know, and
Which is proof of my point that you still have a spiritual relationship with him and you're still connected to his friends.
That's
and
right.
it's cool to be able to have people talk about him openly because you want to hear that people are still thinking about him as well.
that's right.
How important
That's
is
right.
that?
And it's interesting because we're having a Christmas Eve family get together
Yeah.
of my daughters.
Yeah.
And his name invariably comes up
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah.
Wish Chuck was here.
Yes.
Wish Chuck was here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then someone would say, no, he's probably out riding his motorcycle. He'll stop by later, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But it does. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, when we're in a holiday setting, we definitely bring up Austin and Donovan quite often. I talk about Sharon, and yeah, I need that. I need that. My heart needs it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even 30 years from now,
Yes.
it will still need it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, because I'm speaking from experience.
Yes.
And he's right. He's been gone 33 years. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable to think that much time has gone by.
Wow.
And he's still right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And he always will be right here.
Right.
you know?
Beautiful. I want to
It's
send out
amazing.
good energy to everybody who's listening, who's maybe having a hard time at this time of year. Let them know.
Yes.
We're sending out some good energy. We know what their broken heart feels like. And we have walked this path, huh, Barbara?
We know exactly what they're going through.
Yeah.
And it's a myriad of feelings.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Just stay in those feelings.
Yep. Allow them.
Yes, let them come in.
Yeah.
Don't push them away.
Yes.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
I know. I experienced that, and it doesn't work.
It does not
Makes
work.
you miserable.
It does not work.
No, it doesn't. Well, where did the time go,
That
Sharon?
was amazing. That was the best show ever.
It completely disappeared.
Yeah.
So we'll see you again?
Yes.
The next time?
Next year.
Oh, my goodness. Another year gone. Whoa. Well, we need to take a break, don't we, Evil Eye over there?
Yeah.
I'm Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, this is Dave Reeves from Reeves Complete Auto Center. I'd just like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season and a prosperous New Year. Thank you.
Reeves, Santa Clarita's choice for quality customer and automotive care.
I've been in automotive service my whole life. I learned customer service and honest communication make the difference.
Reeves, where customers matter.
I really appreciate your business and hope to serve you in the future. Thank you very much.
Reeves, on Ruther in Canyon Country.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
Helping Our Children Santa Clarita is excited to announce the first ever Christmas toy giveaway in Whoville. Saturday, December 22nd at Elevate Church in downtown Newhall, 24346 Main Street from 4 to 7 p.m. Take your free photo with the Grinch and his sleigh. And our own KHTS 98.1 FM and AM 1220 will be providing the holiday music mix. Bring a child in need and join with our sponsors, the CHP, KHTS, Elevate Church, A Light of Hope, Escape Theater, and the Boys and Girls Club, SCV.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, KHTS. And now we're speaking with Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers in Home Care, one of our sponsors.
Hello, Barbara.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
Likewise. Let's wrap this year up, shall we?
Yes. Oh, can you believe another year has gone?
Can we just fast forward to February, please? Well, maybe mid-January. I'll take mid-January.
Holy cow, it's disappearing, and I'm getting older. Not getting old.
Well, I'm
just
glad you are, because I'm not. Yeah, I'm going with that. But yeah, I mean, the holidays, it's an interesting time of the year, isn't it? A lot of different dynamics for every single person.
It really is. And speaking about my situation, I have 24/7 home care, and I was thinking they're going to have to be with us on Christmas Eve and on Christmas Day. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm glad I have 8-hour shifts, because it does leave them with a little bit of Christmas Eve day and Christmas Day.
Caregivers have special hearts, and our a lot of our team members at Comfort Keepers, they spend time away from their family to care for our clients, and it's an amazing. There's a special heart that comes inside of a caregiver, and but you're right. So I mean, we've got clients that are 24/7. We've got clients that need help on the holidays, and we never. Well, if my scheduler's listening, she's probably going to call me a fibber. But we find our caregivers who are willing to work with our senior clients on the holidays. It's a special kind of person, like I said.
Well, it is. It's wonderful because they're going to have to come with me to Palmdale Christmas Eve, because we spend Christmas Eve day and Christmas Eve together at my daughter's house. We used to do it at our house, but the last 5, 6, 7 years, when I went through cancer, I said no more. My daughter's got it now. So
at some point we'll all hand off that baton, don't we?
That's right. And she's got a bigger house because we have more in the family now. So
right.
Good heavens. In fact, she was talking to me last night, saying, there'll be 21 of us here Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's great, though, isn't it?
Yes. And then we're having another Christmas Eve when the other family can come in from Norfolk, Virginia. He's in the Navy, and he can't get off during the Christmas vacation. So they're coming in the first week in January. So
that's awesome. They can
so
at least
then
make
we'll
it.
have 4 more.
Yeah, because this is the second year that my baby won't be with us. She's in South Korea serving in the United States Air Force, so we'll be doing a lot of Skyping and FaceTiming and whatever video chat we can do.
This is the second year.
Yeah.
Will she be home for next year?
Nope,
hopefully?
She'll be in Germany.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so she's...
Well, as long as she's loving what she's doing.
She is, and she's got her husband with her, so it makes it a little bit easier knowing that she's not alone out there.
Yes.
But like I said, we burn up a lot of FaceTime and video chats, and but South Korea, she's there until May, and then she heads to Germany for 3 years.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
Now, what line of work does she do in the service?
Well, she was what they called airfield management. She oversaw all of the airspace, the runways, the air traffic controllers, and then she segued now into, which was, she tells me is a career move, which is nice, is she is now the executive. And it's not a secretary, so the terminology is different. She's the executive assistant or the executive someone to a 3-star general.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and they select, which makes Daddy a little proud, is they select people who they look at a very positive career path because they want them alongside that 3-4-star bird to learn the management style, the leadership tactics. So it's
be in step.
Yeah. So it's a promotion for her because they've chosen her to be alongside this colonel and learn from him and be his executive right hand, so to speak.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's very cool.
Congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, that is wonderful.
But let's talk a little home care, shall we?
I think we should, and let's start with what is home care.
Yeah, it's a growing industry because our seniors, as they age, they want to stay in their own home, and a lot
that's the key,
right? And a lot of times they don't need anything medical; they need somebody to be there to make sure they're eating nutritiously, that they're hydrating and drinking enough water, that they are being maybe assisted in and out of the shower so they don't have a slip and fall and break a hip or a head trauma. Making sure that they take their medications on time, get to their doctor's appointment, whatever's needed on a non-medical level is what home care is all about. And Comfort Keepers has been here in Santa Clarita for almost 18 years doing that. It's a privilege and an honor, not to sound trite, but to be instrumental in a lot of our seniors being able to stay in their own home. We talked about it a little bit earlier about the special type of person that comes into our organization to be that caregiver. And they have the heart for caregiving, and they talk about how they have like 10, 15 sets of grandparents, so they love it, and so they're caring for our clients. But home care is something that you need to be proactive about as well. I mean, a lot of times we'll have folks. Sometimes we call them tire kickers. They've heard about us, so they don't know much about home care, and we'll explain to them exactly what I just said. And okay, well, I don't need it yet. we kind of look at them and kind of say, you kind of do. Be proactive. Don't be reactive. Don't wait for that slip and fall to break a hip. Don't wait till you mismanage your meds. Don't wait till you dehydrate and get a urinary tract infection. So we tell our folks, be a little preactive. We're obviously there, after an episode, a stroke, a slip and fall, or whatever the event is, but be proactive to prevent those harsher episodes that then it's no longer an issue, or a choice rather. But folks want to stay in their own home. They don't want to necessarily. We have a lot of amazing assisted living facilities in Santa Clarita, but sometimes they would choose to stay in their own home.
I think most seniors would prefer to stay in their own home.
Right. I mean, it's where their memories are. They've
right.
established decades of memories in their own home. That's where even our dementia patients, there's that familiarity of their own home. So to put them someplace, where they're not familiar, that, a lot of times you see a decline almost happen immediately.
And that must be heartbreaking. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want it for us.
Right.
He wouldn't want it. I mean, he knows exactly what corners he has to turn, and he'll do it.
Right.
He's having a harder time, but he's still doing it.
And sometimes assisted livings are the choice. People actually, if assisted livings were meant to be, and sometimes the dynamics of some of the assisted livings change, but assisted livings were meant to be a cruise ship on land. You move into those as an active adult. You are there. They have outings and social engagements, and it's like having a staff around full, just like a cruise ship.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the acuity is getting higher now, where you'll get that active senior that wants to move into that cruise ship on land, and they walk in and it almost has the feel of a skilled nursing facility. They've started accepting folks that maybe the acuity has surpassed what an assisted living's first mission statement looked like.
Right.
But you still have a lot of very active seniors in assisted livings. Like I said, we have a few very excellent ones here in town. We actually have clients in assisted livings because we can help our seniors wherever they call home. So
you, some of your the people who work for you, your caregivers, go to these assisted facilities?
Yeah, because a lot of times a very underemphasized part of what we do is companionship. So you may have a senior who's moved into an assisted living facility and they've got great staffs there, but the format of an assisted living is their staff may check in on a senior every 2 hours, every out, whatever. Well, maybe a client or a resident has slipped and fell, and they need a little bit more additional care until they recover. So a lot of times the assisted livings will call us, bring us in to be an extra set of hands, extra set of eyes and ears for them on their floor with that client. Sometimes we have clients that are lonely, so they want a comfort keeper to come in and take them for ice cream, or do something, take them to the senior center, get them out and about, or just be with them. So 88, I don't know where I pulled that number out, but a large percentage, 9 out of 10 times, we're caring for our seniors in their own home. But we can care for seniors wherever they call home. We even have folks, when they go into a skilled nursing facility or the hospital even, the family will call us and say, we want your caregiver sitting at the bedside to engage with mom or dad, make sure they're okay, and be that extra set of eyes and ears, like I said, for the family.
Now, are you part of a hospice type thing then?
No, we're strictly non-medical. We interface, if you will, with hospice, which is end-of-life care, or with home health, which is a Medicare covered or insurance covered, where a doctor will prescribe a nurse to come into the home, and within an hour or less, they may take the blood pressure, dress wounds, administer any other kind of medical attention that is needed, but then they're gone. Like I said, the things that Comfort Keepers does, in addition to interfacing with the hospices and the home healths if they're engaged in that client's life, is we do the custodial things, if you will. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll make sure that they're eating well, drinking water, taking their meds on time, helping them with their personal care, errands, transportation to the doctors, whatever is needed on the non-medical side. So it's a good kind of a 1, 2, 3 punch of the resources that are available. Sometimes clients get in-home care through in-home physical therapy. So, our caregivers can pay attention, and maybe the physical therapist say, I'm here once or twice a week, but help Mrs. Smith get up and do these type of movements and range of motion on a daily basis, so we can get our clients and seniors stronger and recovering if there's an issue from an episode that can be recovered from. But again, it's companionship, because in addition to the things I just mentioned, that is so undervalued, because our seniors, maybe they've lost a spouse, like you and Sharon were talking about earlier before I came on board here, is now they're lonely and they're depressed and they're starting to isolate themselves from society. They don't go out and do the things they used to, because they're in a grieving process. So the first thing they do is they withdraw, they become isolated, they become depressed. You know what? Let's get some sunshine in their life. Let's get a comfort keeper in there. Let's get them out and about. Let's get them re-engaged with, of course, still paying attention to that grieving process that has to be followed, so to speak.
Yes.
Because you can't come in and, everything's going to be fine. No. That's such a bad thing to say. You have to understand the grieving process. You have to understand the dynamics of, before we come on board, we go in. I have a care manager, even though we're not medical, she's actually a nurse, because both of my offices, I also have an office in Encino. Because we do interface with the medical resources that I mentioned earlier, so they're nurses. So they oversee the care plan, the caregivers, and make sure that the things that are needed. And we're also able to recognize if we need to alert a home health or the physician to say, we're seeing a kind of a downspin here. Maybe we should get them in for a checkup. Maybe you should get a home health nurse in here to take a look. So it's really, like I said earlier, a nice 1, 2, 3 punch with the home resources that are available. And what's really exciting is that unless you had long-term care insurance, the non-medical home care, like what Comfort Keepers does, has always been out-of-pocket, personal expense. I'm not Nostradamus, but I always predicted that at some point the insurances were going to wake up and smell the coffee, because what we do is proactive a lot of times. So if you get some home care in there and prevent the larger events of fractures and or whatever, slip and falls, malnutrition, what have you, you're going to save money in the long run. I think I mentioned with you and the absent Gene before that, this insurances used to didn't pay for the gastric bypass surgery. That was, a non-covered event. And then somebody, those bean counters in the back room, said, well, wait a minute. If we shell out the money now for this gastric bypass surgery and our patient loses 100 pounds and look at all the health benefits that are going to come with that, the diabetes, the other issues that come with morbid obesity, so this pays off for us. They finally started looking at home care that way. It's not going to be covered by Medicare, unfortunately, but the CMS, which stands for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, have now allowed the Advantage plans to bring non-medical home care under their umbrella and actually start paying for some home care. It hasn't really been determined how much yet.
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, and when I say Medicare Advantage plans, you have straight up Medicare, but the Advantage plans are organizations, and I made a list here because we're just coming to the end of our open enrollment for our seniors. I think it ended, but I think there's a grace period that if you're not happy with the choice you made, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly certain that you have a grace period to switch. Say, you know what, I made a bad choice. I want to change my coverage. And the Advantage care, the Advantage plans are folks like Kaiser, Aetna, Humana, United Healthcare, Cigna, Anthem Blue Cross, HealthNet, Scan, Blue Shield. And there's some that I haven't heard too much about, like GMP Life and Easy Choice and Gerber Life even, is to call these folks. If you're with this Advantage plan or if you're thinking of going, is contact them and say, what level of non-medical home care are you bringing onto your table, so to speak, and find out, because this is a huge move, and I think straight up Medicare eventually will do the same thing.
Well, we have MetLife.
You have the long-term care insurance.
Long-term care insurance.
Right.
Now, we also have Anthem Blue Cross.
Do you have the HMO or do you have the PPO?
PPO.
Okay, that's probably not.
That's not
covered. Considered a Medicare Advantage plan. I don't believe.
Okay.
It might be. I might be wrong, but check, because if it is part of an Advantage plan, because is that part of your Did you assign your Medicare to Blue Shield or Blue Anthem?
Well, Anthem Blue Cross is I think it's the secondary for Russ. He's on Medicare.
Okay, so you got the Medigap.
He wasn't Medicare because he had he was with the school district.
Okay.
But now he's on Medicare because I pay them every month for him to be on Medicare.
Okay, so then is the Anthem the Medigap, where you get the gap insurance? So because Medicare covers 80%, you're responsible for 20%. Then a lot of times folks will go out and get what they call a Medigap insurance policy that will pay that 20% after Medicare's 80% is paid.
I don't know with his insurance because I never get any medical bills.
Okay, well, it sounds like you might.
So
if he's straight up Medicare with Anthem Blue Cross or Blue Shield or whichever one you said as their Medigap, then you're covered. That's awesome. And a lot of people should do that. They should.
And is that PERS care?
PERS?
That's through the school district.
Oh, CalPERS?
CalPERS.
Well, CalPERS is a long-term care benefit that was provided by that. You have MetLife, you said, though. Yes. So I don't know if were eligible for CalPERS or not, but it might be something to look into. But the biggest thing that folks a lot of times will forget as well is if they're straight up Medicare and they're a relatively healthy senior, that they're missing the fact that Medicare will only pay 80%. You're responsible for the other 20%. Mm-hmm. So then they have that episode and they go in the hospital and they think everything's, and this is a technical term, hunky-dory, and then at the end of the episode, they're getting all these bills of their 20% responsibility. Yes, so if you are straight up Medicare, if you don't have a Medigap policy, get one, because that'll pay the other 20% that Medicare doesn't cover.
Yeah, see, I have Medicare, and Anthem Blue Cross is my secondary.
There, okay, so you've got a Medigap.
Yeah, I have, and they cover almost everything.
Right.
I may get a $5.40 bill.
Right.
From Anthem Blue Cross.
So I'm assuming then if that's in place, you pay your Medicare premiums, and then you also pay an additional premium to your Anthem. Yeah, so you have a good. A lot of people use ARP for their Medigap. I think it's through Travelers, but but there's a lot of different Medigap policies out there.
Yeah, well, I have Medicare as my major. That's the 80%.
Right.
And then with the Anthem Blue Cross, I also have the Rexall, what do you call it? The pharmacy part.
Yeah, Part D.
Part D.
Right.
I pay for both of them.
Right. So it sounds like you've got it pretty good covered, and you had the forethought to get some long-term care insurance as well, which also helps because, as I said earlier, that used to be the only thing that covered in-home care like I do. Until now, as I said, the CMS has said to these Advantage plans, let's take a look at it. And Kaiser was really I think the innovator, because they started doing this, and they're already doing it this year, because a lot of this stuff doesn't take place until 2019. But I know Kaiser already pays for a little bit of discharge to home care. I know because we're partnered with Kaiser. They've actually chosen Comfort Keepers as their preferred vetted vendor for home care. Wonderful. So we have a nice little partnership with Kaiser. And so what they'll do is we'll get a call and say, we're sending Mrs. Smith home. And we're going to pay for the first 72 hours that she's home. Because that's the reason a lot of our folks bounce back into the hospital is once they get discharged and they get home, they don't have the proper oversight. So they may not come out the gate taking their medications on time. They may not, go to their follow-up doctor's appointment. Mm-hmm. And then what happens within 2 days, they're bouncing back and being readmitted to the hospital.
Yeah, wow. I think we need to take a break. Old Evil Eye over there. He's not feeling too good today. Anyway. Let's take the break.
Absolutely.
I'm Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, KHTS.
Daily Imprints is the premier one-stop shop for custom embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products in the Santa Clarita Valley. Owners Joe and Dana have provided KHTS with quality embroidered company shirts for over 3 years. If it's new business cards or promotional products you need to enhance your image, Daily Imprints is the choice for you. Located on Lyons Avenue, stop by or call today. 661-678-0508.
If you're tired of your nail polish chipping a day or two after an expensive manicure, then you'll love the gel nail polish manicure now offered by Ann. Ann is a licensed manicurist serving the Santa Clarita Valley in Canyon Country for over 15 years. And now she's offering the gel manicure that lasts without chipping for up to 2 weeks. Log on to hometownstation.com for details on how to get an amazing deal on gel nails by Ann on Restaurant Row, or call Ann at 250-8340.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, KHTS, and I'm speaking with Myles McNamara of Comfort Keepers.
How you doing, Barbara?
Yes, doing great still.
Yay. So yeah, like we were talking about, big changes coming up in our industry of non-medical home care with the Medicare Advantage plans now bringing us under their umbrella of coverage. So as I was telling our listeners before the break, if you're with an Advantage plan such as a Kaiser, an Aetna, HealthNet, United Healthcare, Cigna, Scan, is call them and see what their benefit structure looks like for 2019, and you may very well have some non-medical. They call it companion care. They call it custodial services. That there's a few different synonymous names for it, but it's basically the non-medical home care that like Comfort Keepers in-home care does, and see if it's under the umbrella, and then be proactive. Utilize it if they'll let you, because as we were talking about before the break as well, is don't wait for that episode of a slip and fall, a broken hip, or whatever the case may be. Is if it's being covered by your insurance plan, use it. That's what it's there for.
Well, I'm certainly using it 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's working very well.
And the thing that, kind of segueing before we run out of time is I'd like everyone to take sort of a step back and maybe, we always hear this, I never get into the New Year's resolutions, but if there is a New Year's resolution for our listeners who have aging parents, or even we as baby boomers, or even if you're a legal adult, you should have a plan in place. Mm-hmm. So, I just did an article for the magazine, it was titled New Year's Resolution, Age with a Plan. Is a lot of us don't plan to fail, we just fail to plan.
That's right. Very true.
If you don't have your plan, is take a look at that roadmap as you age, because there's one thing that I can 100% promise everyone listening right now is we are all going to age. So how do you want that to look? Not only should you have your legal documents in place, an advanced health care directive, so if God forbid you're not able to speak on your own behalf, who do you know and trust and empower to speak on your behalf, should you be at the hospital or what have you? Huge choice. It doesn't have to be your daughter or your son, it doesn't have to be a family member. It has to be somebody that when you put your plan together and you put together your advanced healthcare directive of things you want to happen should you become ill, injured, or what have you, that they will simply follow your roadmap.
Absolutely.
It can certainly be your children, but again, if you implicitly spell out in your own roadmap of what you want to happen, then there's no guilt, there's no arguing, there's no debate. It's right there in writing, because a lot of times you hear people say, if something happens to me, just pull the plug. Okay, well, let's talk about that for a minute. What does pull the plug mean? Because if you're injured in a car accident, or if, something happens that you are temporarily in need of mechanical assistance, and you are going to be helped over a hump and be taken off that mechanical assistance at some point and then live a very fruitful and fun life. Do you really want to pull the plug? Or do you want to say, leave me plugged in until I get over the hump? But that's where you have to write your plan, because if you're going to be on that assistance for the rest of your life, then you can have in your advanced health care orders to remove you from life-supporting apparatuses, if you will. There's a thing called POLST, P-O-L-S-T, Physician's Order for Life-Sustaining Treatment. Doctors need to have that in their hip pocket to know what you wanted should A, B, or C happened. So, it's a matter of if you're going to be on this respirator for the rest of your life and your advanced plan says, if I am going to be on a breathing apparatus for the rest of my life, I would like to be taken off life support systems and be allowed to move on to the next dimension.
Yes.
But if it's there because you, had pneumonia or had, as I said, a bad car accident, and you'll be off of that thing in 4 days and be healthy, wealthy, and wise for another decade or so. So don't be quick to say, if I'm on a respirator, pull the plug. There's a lot of different looks to that.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. And things change.
Yeah.
And they'll change in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's something that you really need to look at.
But that rounds me back to when you pick your agent on your advanced healthcare directive, it has to be someone, again, there should be no guilt or any of that dynamic if you've spelled it out explicitly. It's your wishes. But if it says, if I am going to be on a breathing apparatus for the rest of my life, I ask to be taken off of that respirator and be allowed to move on, you've got to trust your agent that they would do that.
That's right. It has to be honored.
Right.
Absolutely has to be honored. And do we need to take another break?
Looks like we're done.
We're done already? Good heavens.
I say let's blow this joint for and I won't be back till next year.
That's right. Next year. Can you believe that?
I know.
Where has the year gone?
I know. In a blink, right?
Absolutely. In less than a blink.
Right. But in closing, folks, make that your New Year's resolutions. Make that the gift to your loved ones, is put an advanced healthcare directive in place so that there's no guilt, no arguing, none of that dynamic. You've got a roadmap and they will follow it.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And if you're able to, put some home care in there also.
Absolutely.
Because it's, speaking from experience, it's been a lifesaver for me personally.
Yeah. Be proactive, not reactive.
To have Russ taken care of.
Right.
Because it's helped me. And, my goodness, we're not going to be here until next week.
Next year.
No, you next year.
Oh, you're back next week. That's right.
We're back next week.
That's right.
The day after Christmas. Oh, my goodness. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Have
See
a great
you
New
next
Year,
week.
guys.
Yes, I'm Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, KHTS.